is. Hello, everybody. This is Preston Polter here with Pocket Jacks Comics. And joining me, I have the two other judges for the contest for expanding the Comicsgate trademark universe. So we have Zombie and Vicky. So,
Hello, everybody.
And Vicky, who's still the possessor of her fabulous voice, but unfortunately, she is coming in on her cell phone, so her audio quality is a bit off in comparison to what it typically is. But
Sorry,
it's
I
all right.
apologize.
Yeah. So we have let's see, a lot of people who have. Oh wow, let me see who else. Okay, I see Tony S. And I see Patriarchal Ape. I'm glad. So let's start with Larry's pages. Larry was first here in the chat, and I do like it when people are early or first. It makes it easy to coordinate the show. So Larry, let's see. We have pages here for Primal Chaos.
Yes.
Okay. Now. Go ahead, and as a writer, you're gonna have to get used to this stuff. Just pitching,
Okay.
always pitching. So
always pitching. Eh?
For the audience, tell us what Primal Chaos is about.
Primal Chaos is the story of an archangel named Samael who was part of Lucifer's rebellion and gets cast out of heaven. That's falls into a rift in space-time and ends up in this chaos realm. So that's pretty much where the story is at the point in the pages. So
all right. Let's see. So all right, page 1, page 2, page 3.
Junk pages.
You don't just I've not seen that in a script before. I'm pretty sure you don't need them.
So. It's more just for me to keep page count.
Fair enough.
Up in mind. So,
all right, fair enough. So we're really opening here on page 4.
Yeah.
And all right, so we need a Samael. Who do you want to read that?
Whoever wants to. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah.
Zombie, why don't you read Samael? And then we have I'll be doing narrator, except where Samael is narrating, and then we definitely have.
That's pretty much just him.
Yeah,
so.
That's just him. Fair enough. Yeah. And then let's see splash page. And I see Azazel, and Lucifer. Okay, Vicky, you can be Lucifer.
I always wanted to be Lucifer.
You were Hillary Clinton, which is very close to Lucifer. Yeah. And Zombie can be Azazel.
Azazel? Yeah.
No, wait. Larry, you can be Azazel.
Okay.
Because I haven't given you a part yet, I don't think.
Sure.
And
I'll be Azazel.
3, page 7, which is really page 4. Okay, that just a whole bunch of narration there. Page 8.
And then there's Michael is the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, man, we're getting all the angels.
All the angels. Yeah.
All right, Michael can be voiced by Vicky. You can do Michael. And then she's got a great voice, even on her cell phone. I'm hitting up all the friends, and then I'm going to be busy as narrator. Okay, so we had 3 junk pages. So page 13 is our final page.
Yeah.
And all right, that's all the speaking parts. Okay.
So much.
So it's just not a lot of dialogue.
Not yet. No.
All right. Page 1, panel 1, underground, a dark, dank city sewer. Rain pours down from the streets above. Samael sits propped against a stone wall, his head pressed against his right hand in pain. His mangled left arm hangs limp on the sewer floor. Blood runs off into the water flowing under him.
Zombie. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, business call. I'm here now.
Okay. Zombie, we need you to read the part for Samael. Do you have the script? It is up on the screen, if you can do that. Or
Samael. How did it come to this, that one?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sort of voice has he got? Has he got a deep voice, weird voice?
No, I would say it's pretty powerful, sort of angelic, if you will. Let me think if I can think of a character.
Well, I may not be able to do the character's voice, but
Yeah.
obviously not high pitched and girly.
No, not high pitched. No.
I wouldn't. We do have a lot of pages to get through. So
Okay. No.
Let's
How did it come to this? Pain, cold, wet. The memories flood back like the tides.
Panel 2, the blood is seen traveling away from him and circling a drain. Panel 3, close up on the blood draining down the drain causing a vortex of red and black.
Then I remember the fire.
Page 2, a large army of thousands of angels is battered and tarnished. Armor stands on a silver and gold field of flowers before a massive glowing golden gate. Before them, in front of the gate, stand an army of millions of angels in glowing gold armor. The light is blinding. Caption: the primum mobile gate of Epirin, heaven, the tale of the celestial war. Page 4. No, yeah, page 3. Sorry, page 3. That's why I need you to take out the junk pages. Otherwise, I have to keep doing this manually, or in my head. And I'm not that smart. Panel 1. 3 angels in the stellar group stand at the head of the army. They all look fearful and anxious. The one on the left looks to the center angel and speaks. The central angel snaps back at him.
Oh, that's me. No turning back now, I suppose.
Not a time for humor, Azazel.
Panel 2, Lucifer turns to his army and speaks to Azazel and the other angel, which we see is Samael.
This is it, my brothers. We take our father's throne or be cast into oblivion. Samael, you take your phalanx right, engage Gabriel's ranks. Azazel, you take the left. Be careful. Raphael is a strong opponent, and so are his phalanx. I will engage the center. Michael is mine.
Panel 3, Lucifer turns around, facing towards the reader, his army behind him, his blade raised upward, and he screams as he spreads his massive wings.
Charge!
I want to just quick note here. I would like for you to put in a bit more character description, because we've kind of introduced Lucifer, but I don't really know what he looks like, and there are various depictions that we could be using, and I need you to, kind of in my mind's eye, tell me what I'm looking at, and it's going to be really handy later when the actual artist gets to it.
Gotcha.
All right.
I usually, just a side note, I usually do that in a separate document, but I'm not used to doing it in the script, but I can put it in there. That's fine. Yeah.
All right, page 4, panel 1, flying towards the viewer, Samael is seen rocketing into the air, left of center, followed by his group of angels. Panel 2, we see their approach from a back view of Archangel Gabriel as he and his men await their charge. Panel 3, we see Samuel and Gabriel about to lock blades in the center of the panel, their respective armies behind them about to do the same. Panel 4, Gabriel's blade hits Samuel and Samuel's blade shatters like glass. The tip of Samuel's blade flies back and chops his left arm near the elbow. Shards of the blade pierce the rest of his arm and part of his chest armor. Glowing red, angelic blood sprays out of his wounds. He screams in pain. Page 5. Back in the sewer, Samuel has gotten up and worked the sewer tunnels. Some water runs in the middle of the tunnel. He stumbles and falls to his knees, and the water facing the reader, gripping the remains of his left arm as his memory brings forth pain. Panel 2, close up on his left arm as he cries in pain. Bits of metal from his sword can be seen starting to move. Under the skin, some bursting out. Page 3, close up on his face as he passes out, his face half submerged in the water.
Burning inside.
Page 6, splash page. The group of defeated rebel angels are lined up on a cliff edge that falls into an endless black void below it. The 3 chief angels of God's army stand before them, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Caption: The cliff of vision, the edge of creation, heaven, the time of the casting. Page 7. View from behind the three angels as they look down upon the three fallen in front of them, Lucifer in the middle, Samael in the left, Azazel on the right.
For your defiance against our Lord God, in your spite of the glory of man and rule of the sun, you are all cast out. You shall not know the sight of heaven again, nor soar upon the tranquil winds. Instead, you will know pain everlasting in the darkest fire pits of hell.
Panel 2, close-up on Michael's face. His eyes glow with a blue sparkle, his expression grim.
There is no redemption for your actions. You have all willingly broken his word. This is your everlasting punishment.
Panel 3, close-up on Samael as he bows his head and weeps. Panel 4, close-up on Lucifer. His expression shows anger and rage. Tears also stream from his eyes. He curses Michael.
This is far from over. I will conquer hell. Better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
Page 8, panel 1, view of the side, close-up on Lucifer and Michael's faces, inches from each other. Michael has gently placed his hand under Lucifer's chin and locked eyes with him.
I am afraid, my brother, you are lost and will never find the way. I cannot say I am sorry, but I will bid you farewell till the end of all.
Panel 2, Michael now stands and gestures behind him for a group of angels to approach the fallen. Panel 3, wide shot of the group of hundreds of fallen behind him. There is one angel standing in front of every kneeling fallen. We see the beautiful silver and gold colors of heaven trail down to deep black on the cliff they kneel before. Panel 4, close up on Gabriel as he looks down at Samael. A look of disgust and sadness comes across his face. Panel 5, view behind Gabriel looking down towards Samael. Gabriel has gripped both of Samuel's wings near his back in his hands and placed his knee on the mid area in a pushing position. Page 9, splash page. View down on Samuel and looking and surrounding fallen. The angels have ripped the wings off them as they push them over the cliff. They start to fall in the abyss. A wave of glowing red blood gushes from their wounds. Beneath them is nothing but black. Page 10, panel 1. Wide shot. The panel is black except for hundreds of growing red streaks falling downward. Panel 2.
Oh, I just saw a typo. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Panel 2. Close up on Samuel's body as he falls. A strange purple aura appears in the blackness beneath him. Panel 3. Close up of Samuel's face as his eyes shout open as if he senses danger. Panel 4. Wide shot looking down. The pupil's aura has become a crack in the blackness. It spills out tendrils of... What did I say something wrong?
Yeah, it's purple. The purple aura.
The purple. All right.
You said. Sorry to interrupt.
Wide shot looking down. The purple aura. Whatever. The purple aura has become a crack in the blackness. It spills out tendrils of arcing energy. He has spun his body to face it as he falls into the crack. There we go. So,
there.
And there we are. So, I mean, you know, it's certainly very evocative. Michael is delivering some really cool Samuel L. Jackson-esque lines. So, you know, we definitely got the war between heaven and hell brewing.
Mm-hmm.
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 Positive. Either Vicky or Zombie.
What's that?
I'm waiting for the other two to get this. Yeah.
I like the flow of it a lot. That little bit of back and forth from the sewer tunnel to the battle is really kind of cool. I wanted to keep. I did keep going. When I was reading it, I didn't stop at just that page. I kept going. So.
Zombie?
I thought it was really well paced, very evocative, and as long as the artist is clear on the angels, very impactful for people who like this sort of thing. Are the angels that fall going to start changing form or just literally lose their wings? Because Samael changes his form, doesn't he, in the end? He sort of mutates.
Kind of, yeah. His form change is brought on by what happens to him next, more than anything.
Right.
They do eventually change their form, but I mean, they don't really appear very much at the beginning. They sort of come in later. So,
Okay.
yeah, this is sort of just setting it up, the whole universe, if you will.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Any other positive?
It was just really clear and good. I mean, well written, I thought.
All right. All right. The constructives. To me, one, it was kind of telling in that we assigned Zombie to read our main character's lines, and our main character had one line in 10 pages. So, the book is going to be 23 pages, so we just went through 10, and our main character is not very main. I honestly feel like these pages would be better as a flashback or something that is touched upon later by the main character and perhaps narrated by the main character. So now we are seeing it more from his point of view. Because opening here, now chronologically it makes sense because this is what happens before our story, but he's just a soldier in the Heaven-Hell War, and he's not a particularly significant one. So I really feel like this backstory might be worked in better as flashback, and that you might be better served if you open with the conflict of the story, which is not the direct war between Lucifer and God. It's really Samael and his attempt to become redeemed, right? And so we've gone through 10 pages, and we have seen that he has fallen, but that could have been established in like a page or a line of dialogue or something. So,
right.
I mean, to me, I almost want to say cut it. But that's me.
Yeah.
Zombie Vicky.
I think there are pages that could be panels, and if you're going to have an omniscient narrator, in other words, caption boxes, given that this is set in heaven, the omniscient narrator is implicitly God. So I think you either need to commit to it actually being God, or an angel whose purpose is to record, keep archives, or I strongly agree with Preston, this should really all just be narrated by Samael and have some font or box coloration or something to let people know that the narration is by Samael rather than the omniscient narrator who, as I said in this case, would actually presumptively be God. Because you sort of have to ask yourself, who's a witness to what's being described? Who's actually relaying it when you have captions? So when you deal with angels and God, kind of, you sort of you either need to tread carefully or just like really go all in. And you may as well go all in. So either have it all silvery and white and the narration is by God on scrolls, like from the Book of Life, or just have it be Samael and then the main character's got all that extra dialogue. I mean, from an animated point of view, I would always just have the main character do it. It's a juicy role, so let the guy talk. And it's his story. And Preston's comment just before about him just being a foot soldier, that should probably go into the narration or the dialogue. He should actually, now, because as a fallen angel, he had no humility whatsoever, by definition. But now that he's on a redemption arc, he no longer sees himself as the center of creation. So it would be appropriate for him to say, now I realize I was just a pawn of Lucifer. I realize I was just a foot soldier, kind of thing, to lower his own status in his own mind and frame it. And yeah, maybe some of these pages could be panels.
Yeah. And
because it's quite repetitive as a battle. So although it looks cool and that would work well in a movie or whatever, doesn't necessarily, given that you've only got like one floppy comic worth of content, you've blown half of it nearly. And really, he should be in the sewer, regrowing his arm, going out and disemboweling criminals or something as soon as possible. It's like Batman. Parents shot, pearl necklace breaks, pearls bounce on the ground, flower on grey. Thank you, good night. Here's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, all right. John has what I think is a good suggestion. have the first page be the splash page of Samael falling from heaven, because like we the war between heaven and hell is something that you don't really need to tell. I mean, it's cool, but everybody already more or less knows it.
But even if they don't, the repetition of the violence, it's a different kind of comic if you go for that, isn't it? It's more like one of the lazy image comics, or Van Sciver sort of comics, where it just sprawls out because it's an artist in control, so they just keep drawing these lazy pages. Mm-hmm. But from a story point of view, where he's a strong character with an Avenger angle and a redemption angle, you probably want to just squib it a bit on the battle, enough of it so you get the idea. But really, the strongest idea in it is having his wings torn off, mm-hmm. and his sword smashed, his wings torn off. So you could have that as 2 pages, and the rest of the battle could just be part of those 2 pages. Page 1, pride is a sin. You fall. You got this super weapon. It doesn't matter at all. It's a pathetic sword compared to the righteous vengeance of the Lord, acted out through the angels that haven't fallen. So your plan fails. Second page, consequence of plan failing, wings torn off. Good night.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All of that is answered in your actual character history. Because your character comes down to Earth. He falls to Earth. He comes out and he's he's like in this. He just starts going and rampaging and killing people, and then he hurts a child, and the child's blood causes him to remember everything. So there's your flashback right there. There's the time when you can have some of your flashback, but start with him already down on Earth, because it's already also, you've already worked that part out in your history on the wiki.
And you've got 1,500 years of writings about angels, from William Blake back to the Gnostics. So you've got a lot of quotable stuff you can use. His sword failed him in his battle. If he's bulletproof, you'd have somebody blaze away at him with a sidearm that would normally just, cut a human down, but it doesn't do anything to him. If he breaks their weapon, he's reenacting his own failure. This is a character that could have quite a strong element of humility, or at least rueful kind of regret and almost like PTSD. So, but there's an awful lot of good poetry you could quote. And William Blake, because you've got a sympathetic fallen angel, that's more in Milton and William Blake territory than, the normal, they got what they deserved and now they're hideous monsters in Tartarus kind of thing.
I really like it. I just kind of feel like the focus isn't where it needs to be,
right,
story-wise.
Because in issue 1, you really need to tell us what the conflict that drives Samael is, as well as introduce the major characters. And I assume on occasion there may be some visitations from Lucifer or Gabriel or whatever, but they're probably not going to be particularly major characters in your story, unless I'm wrong. Or maybe yeah. Because originally you pitched it as Spawn, and Spawn interacts with the devil a bit, but not a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I was just using that as an example, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I understand.
The problem you're going to run into if you bring characters like Lucifer or Gabriel into it, you'd have to use the Jack Kirby approach with his original run on Thor, because if you don't, they overwhelm everything else and all human interest.
Right.
Because if he has a love interest or a human friend or anything like that, these cosmic level beings just make all that irrelevant, really, and that'll drop people out of the interest. And he's such a strong looking character, like a cool looking character. I'm sure people really just want to have him start fighting crooks and getting bedeviled by things. I mean, pun intended.
Yeah.
But look, it's your story. You do it your way. But Jack Kirby, I think, is still probably the best guy who ever did this sort of stuff, and a lot of other people copy him, whether they acknowledge it or not, with the streets of New York being shattered by the arrival of trolls or something. or Odin summoning him back, kind of thing. It's all just stuff to think about. I think the main thing, though, turn the pages into panels.
Mm-hmm.
Just try and crush this down to 2 pages, get a strong plot point for each of those 2 pages, and Batman's parents are killed, he becomes an Avenger of the Night, and out. And then page 3, kaboom, right? Turn the page, boom, here we go.
Right.
Armored car slamming into building, machine gun bullets bouncing off his chest, whatever it is, walking through the fire, whatever.
I look, you keep what you want, but my question to you is, why do we need to see this at all?
Yeah. It's cool.
It's cool, but why do we need to see it?
It's just cool, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's cool, but that's about it. It doesn't speak to your character. I mean, you could the concept of a fallen angel is so easy to get. You don't need to show us this. You know, he could literally say at some point, "I was a fallen angel. We had a war. It didn't go well." You know, like just like one line of dialogue with a character, and we could have saved all that. You know what I'm saying? So,
and if it's a war story, does he now have a special beef with Gabriel? Does he blame his commanding officer, Lucifer? Because if he doesn't, then they're very incidental to where the story should go. They're not really central, and they shouldn't be. If he blames himself, he doesn't need to blame them. If he doesn't blame himself, then Lucifer is his commanding officer from an army that he now noped out of, like an ex-Nazi or something. He doesn't want to be surrounded by Nazis who are still not sorry. And if Gabriel is the one who punished him, just because he's on a reformed path, he may still think that that was an act of complete and unjustified bastardry by Gabriel. Or if he now agrees that the Lord God has dominion again, if he respects God's authority, he may still say something to Gabriel like, yes, you did what the Lord commanded, as is right, but you did not have to enjoy it, and I could tell that you did.
right.
Because angels are not perfect, they're without sin. An angel cannot sin, but they aren't perfect. They're not God. So they can vary between each other. Yeah. They're like officers who all fulfill the same duties correctly, but some officers really enjoy some aspects of what they do more than other aspects. That's so right. If Gabriel really did enjoy ripping his wings off, that's a personal beef right there, isn't it? You see. But anyway, I thought it was really solid and strong, really good, really, really accomplished.
Yeah. Anyway, and just one other writer's tip. All right. Questions and engage your reader. So, like, you know, and there's whole writing seminars about, you know, like, J.J. Abrams talks about this, the mystery box. It's the question that keeps people coming back. You know, it's what was at the core of the X-Files. What do the aliens want? What is the conspiracy? What are these people getting after? And here you're really kind of setting it out. Like, I'm not left with any questions after reading these pages. I understand who he is, what heaven is, what hell is, what Gabriel did. You've given me no questions to ask. Whereas if we open up on the character and you at least tell us that he's a fallen angel and he's kind of partial and he's like, I'm going to get that bastard who ripped my wings, we at least have to ask the question, well, who is that? And then when you meet Gabriel and there's this there's the anger, we as the audience get to go, oh, see, therein now we've had a question answered for us that we asked previously. Mm-hmm. And so we are more engaged.
Okay. Also, he's supposed to have been cast into Tartarus like the other fallen angels, and he obviously wasn't. That's so right. the obvious question suggested at the end of the sequence would be, why am I not in hell?
Right.
And was that God's will? Or is the Force temporarily frustrating the will of God, or is it part of his plan? That's the problem when you deal with angels and gods in a Christian or Judeo-Christian way.
Right.
God's omniscient, it's all planned. So why am I bothering reading it, really? I mean, It's all part of the plan. However, if you treat the Bible as hip-hop posturing and propaganda and maybe God isn't absolutely all-powerful, then you, a bit like Odin in the old Thor comic, then you can have struggles against God and his plan and things like this fallen angel getting left behind by the bus to hell. And so he's on Earth as a form of purgatory or to do something else or whatever. You do have to ask questions. That's absolutely right. And probably simple questions rather than metaphysical ones.
Anyway, I hope we've given you some stuff to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
And I next week, I'd love for you to come back, or whenever you take some notes, polish it up a bit, and I look forward to seeing the next round.
Sounds
It
good.
was excellent. It was excellent work. Well done.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Larry. I loved it.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I don't even particularly like those sort of angel stories usually.
Hello,
That one
Tony.
engaged.
Oh, hello.
Hello. All right. So
Hey,
Hi.
Tony.
Hi, Vicky.
now we're going to find out about the cool high school adventures of Cat Kid, or something like that, right?
Or high school dropout
High
adventures.
school dropout. Okay. So again, writer's got a pitch. So let the audience know what we're going to hear about.
All right. In a world where paranormal creatures are rapidly coming into conflict with humanity, the 19-year-old supernatural vigilante known as Cat Kid is unwillingly recruited by the Office of Supernatural Investigation and Response to protect the human realm under their authority. But will the wildcat seek to escape from his new domestic and bureaucratic life, or will budding friendships convince him to settle in as a key part of the team? Monsters are fought, dark corners of the city are explored, and secrets are to be revealed in the adventures and exploits of Cat Kid.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, very good. I love your formatting. Look at this. Is this writer duet?
Yeah, I switched from Celtics.
It's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Woman, that's got to be Vicky.
Yep. There's actually 6 roles, so it's going to be dual for all 3 of you. Vicky or woman, and you can be the title character.
And
Ooh, I get to be Cat Kid.
Yep.
all right,
I'm so excited.
we got Fishman.
Zombie, your Fishman, and Sam.
All right.
Cool.
And Preston, your Agent 1 and Rance.
Okay. Who's narrator?
I'll narrate.
All right. Very well. Okay. fewer typos and flubs that way. Go ahead.
Page 1. Cleveland. View of the coast of Lake Erie from the edge of a dock, nighttime. All is calm and peaceful. A spot below the dock bubbles and gurgles. A massive figure explodes from the water, smashing through the edge of the dock, careening high into the air in a trail of mist. A hulking fish monster lands on the city's street, pulverizing the pavement under its webbed feet, roaring loudly. Blood drips from the monster's deep wounds, mixing with the water on its slick, wet, mucus-covered skin. A shadowy figure is visible over its shoulder, 2 cat ears and glowing yellow eyes seen in the silhouette. Cat Kid, digging his claws into the monster's back with one hand while rearing back his other hand, claws razor sharp and brandish, roars back at the monster. The Fishman is hunched over, ready to shake him off with one violent motion. The monster hurls its hide sharply to the right, sending Cat Kid skipping across the pavement until he smashes against the windshield of a car. A crowd of bystanders stop to gawk, some taking pictures with their phones, flashes going off in the crowd. The Fishman roars at the cowering, fleeing crowd, brandishing a huge set of human-looking teeth. The Fishman, having grabbed a woman in one huge webbed hand, opens its mouth wide to take a bite as she screams.
Vicky.
Help me. Dear God, somebody help me.
Cat Kid pounces on the Fishman.
Did you not hear me?
No, you're good.
Yeah, we got it.
Cat Kid pounces on the Fishman, colliding full force with the monster's chest, the impact sending them both flying as the monster drops the woman. The monster slides across the pavement with Cat Kid on its chest, its back leaving a trail of blood and rubble. Cat Kid digs his fingers into the monster's gills on the sides of its short, stumpy neck, throttling it. It opens its mouth wide, gasping, writhing on the ground.
Settle down or die. Either way, you're gonna stop already.
Close-up of the monster's face, screaming, its full set of human teeth totally visible.
Hurt! Hurt!
Cat Kid stares at the monster in a split second of confusion.
Vicky.
Hurts.
The Fishman's hands clench around the Cat Kid's body, tightening with all its
I'm
strength.
having an issue.
I think there's a delay. I think there's a delay on Vicky's end.
Okay, fair enough.
The Fishman lifts up Cat Kid, its mouth open extremely wide, ready to bite Cat Kid in half. Cat Kid glares, ears folded back from the monster's scream, digging his claws into its hands in a final act of defiance.
Yo!
A bolt of light shoots through the back of the fishman's head, splattering its brains in a red mist. Catkid falls through the monster's loosened grip. The fishman falls backward with a thud. Catkid lands lightly on his feet. A figure stands at a distance in the background, illuminated by a streetlight. Closer view of the figure, a man in a casual black jacket, pointing with a finger gun motion. He is wearing a glove with a rune stitched on the back of the hand, the tip of his finger glowing, his other hand pressing a finger to his ear.
Area secure. Proceed with caution.
Catkid is hit in the neck with a tranquilizer dart from a different angle. He recoils, eyes wide as they go with shock. He runs away, blowing past a group of SIR agents, who pump him with a few more darts as he leaps over stopped cars in the street. Profile shot of Catkid, eyes wide, focused and determined. Same shot, background smeared and blurry. Catkid's eyelids are heavy, unfocused. Same shot, he falls into unconsciousness, head dipping halfway down the panel. The background is a white blur, barely resembling a city street. Catkid falls down into a black void in a succession of poses starting from the previous panel down to the left corner of the page, each pose fading until the final pose can barely be seen. Extreme close-up of Catkid's eye, barely open, eyelid weighing a ton.
No.
His eyes go wide as he looks down at his wrists, handcuffed. Catkid jumps up from his chair, knocking it across the holding room as he struggles to break free of his handcuffs, ready to flip over the table and climb up the walls. We see the back of the head of a human figure sitting on the other side of the table.
Please calm down. There's no need to panic.
A middle-aged man sits calmly at the table, completely unfazed by Catkid's outburst.
My name is Agent Rance. Could you sit down for a moment? If you'd like to do that for me, I'd be happy to explain the situation.
Catkid sneers. He steps up onto the table. He sits cross-legged on the table in front of Rance, staring at him, impatient.
Go.
Rance slides a folder on the table in front of him. Catkid waves his hand in a stopping motion.
I'm with the Office of Supernatural Investigation and Response. We're a private organization that deals with,
Yeah, I've heard of you.
Catkid stares at Agent Rance threateningly.
How about you go ahead and tell me why you have me here in handcuffs?
Rance calmly flips open the folder and reads from it, paying no attention to Catkid's attempted intimidation.
You've had quite a busy 2 years, helped a lot of communities across the country, saved lives, risked yourself on several occasions.
Flashback, Catkid carrying a teenage boy over his shoulder fights a swarm of harpies in the middle of the woods. A huge nest burns in the background.
Rescuing a group of teenage boys from a swarm of harpies in Indiana.
Flashback, Catkid wrestles with a massive snake in the desert, wrapping his arms and legs around its mouth to keep it shut while a crowd records the fight on their phones.
Subdued a giant snake in Arizona.
Flashback, Catkid grapples with an orc warrior twice his size in a fighting ring while in the background 2 other orcs restrain a half-naked elf girl.
Negotiating the release of an elf noble from an orc encampment in Virginia, amongst other noteworthy excursions.
Catkid, still sitting on the table, gives Rance a smug yet impatient smirk, shaking his wrists and jangling his handcuffs.
All right. I'll assume I'm here so you could, give me a medal? From how you describe things, I deserve better than a dart in my neck.
Rance folds his hands, looking at Catkid, serious.
You're a vigilante. You work outside the law, and on those grounds, the SIR has opted to bring you in. I'm afraid we can't allow you to operate outside our jurisdiction any longer.
Catkid balls his hands into fists, giving an angry, sharp-toothed grin as he prepares to snap his handcuffs.
Is that so?
However...
Rance slides his folder away, still professional and unfazed by Catkid's hostility.
After evaluating your expertise in the field, we're prepared to offer you a position as an agent for the SIR.
And if I say no, you'll throw me in jail, yeah? Same deal you made with all the other vigilantes you've caught?
Catkid tilts his head away, rolling his eyes.
You'll be given a room and board at our facility here in Cleveland, meals provided, dietary needs taken into account, a fair change from squatting in an abandoned building and eating out of the garbage. Wouldn't you agree?
Rance stands up from his chair, picking up his folder and turning to leave.
It may not seem like a fair offer in regards to freedom or choice, but it's certainly the best one you'll get.
Close-up of Catkid's eyes narrowed in simmering anger.
Be the hunter.
Close-up of Catkid's hands, still curled up into fists and wrists tugging on the handcuffs, the center link of the chain bending.
Or the hunted.
Catkid snaps the chain of the handcuffs with a violent tug, his arms flying to his sides, a determined glint in his eyes. On the other side of the two-way mirror, a silhouetted figure moves panicked as Catkid jumps off the table, landing on the floor to come face-to-face with Rance. Catkid, snarling, gets all in Rance's face, close enough that their noses are an inch apart.
Hunter or hunted, eh?
Catkid extends his right hand to Rance for a handshake.
Fine. Deal.
Rance gives Catkid an approving smirk. Rance shakes Catkid's hand.
Welcome aboard, Catkid.
Back on the other side of the two-way mirror, Agent Sam Dillon, age 29, leans against the glass, breathing a sigh of relief as Rance comes around the corner, standing next to him.
So, were you able to read him in there?
His mind is like Fort Knox. I've never seen anyone or anything so resistant to psychic energy. Going forward, we can only take him at his word.
Rance turns to face Sam, leaning slightly diagonally in curiosity.
Thoughts?
In all honesty, nothing optimistic.
Catkid sits at the edge of the table, hunched over, staring forward. His right ear is tilted to the side.
His combat tactics are blunt and haphazard. His behavior is erratic. Seems like a loose cannon waiting to happen.
Sam crosses his arms as Rance moves around to leave.
All in all, I can't see myself trusting him on the job any more than I would a wild tiger.
Your will in time. Starting today, he's your new partner.
Sam's eyes go wide, turning his head to Rance, who has left the room.
Wait, what?
He turns his head back to the glass, eyes still wide. Catkid stands in front of the glass, looking straight at Sam with a big, cocky, sharp-toothed grin.
And I guess that's the end of our 10 pages.
That's the end.
That's the end. All right.
That was extremely fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Vicky, why don't you start us off on positives?
Like I said, I thought it was really, really fun. It was paced really well. It gave you a good idea of what was going on with Catkid, who he was. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Zombie?
Yeah, I thought it was very well written, very clear, beautifully paced, got straight into it, engaging, raised and answered certain questions about the world, made me actually smile and chuckle out loud, and absolutely made me want to keep reading it. And I like the lack of cosmic level stuff in it. So it's like the early Hellboy. I don't want to demean it by making comparisons, though, really. Basically, it's just a lower power level for a magic world, which is always good. Because Catkid seems like a guy. Like, he's unique, but he's not like, God level. And therefore, he can have a lot of adventures which are interesting and challenging for him. And it made me want to see those adventures. So I thought it was really, really good and very well written.
I really like the scene where they are going over Catkid's various adventures, because that was funny. And that's where we're seeing this world, because we really don't know too much about the world. We know it has supernatural anthropomorphic animals in it. But when we're seeing him talking about, and then you went and you fought the orc to rescue the elf noble, we're like, so now we're understanding that the world has orcs and elves, as well as apparently like wrestling contests where you can wrestle an orc or something. And, it's presenting these funny visuals, as well as introducing us to who is in this new world we're exploring. So go ahead. All right. On constructives, coming back to actually that same scene, we have. Yeah, all right. So yeah, we're here on page 7, and we're reading out all of his various adventures, and Rance starts, telling him what he's doing on page 4, and then we start to see, these flashback panels from Rance, but 7 panels on a page is a little crowded, given that each of these panels could be a splash page, or could be, it's a chance to give us more room to allow the artist to tell a bigger, more evocative story. Mm-hmm. So I think those scenes are pretty cool and kind of deserve a little more real estate on the page.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. In terms of, I feel like a little bit echoes here of going over the Samael pages, and that I feel like our story now starts with he's your partner, and then for the rest of like issue 1, it's going to be kind of this buddy cop stuff with Cat Kid and whoever the guy who got assigned to is
Sam.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to take this.
All right, go ahead. So I feel like it's going to be Cat Kid and Sam and kind of this buddy cop thing. And I'm left wondering, okay, could we get there a little faster? Or the question I love to ask, why don't we just open with that? Why don't we open with Cat Kid and Sam out, on the beat trying to get stuff? And at some point you can work in this interesting backstory, because it is interesting, but I don't think it's the central conflict. Mm-hmm. And just in participating and listening to the pages, I found myself emotionally not particularly invested, because we had this cool fight between Cat Kid and the monster. Mm-hmm. And that was neat. But then Cat Kid gets captured, and I didn't find myself particularly oh no, he's been kept. The stakes weren't, oh my God, they hit him with tranq darts. It was they hit him with tranq darts. And then, he kind of gets ground up in the government bureaucracy. And unfortunately, particularly with all this COVID stuff, everyone's kind of going through that. And we're going through that in very much the same way that Cat Kid is going through that. We just sit there and we listen as people explain, no, sorry, this is what you have to do. I don't care what it is you want to do. This is what you have to do. And we're all just oh, okay. I guess we belong to the government now. And that's exactly what So Cat Kid and our journeys are very much the same. Unfortunately, Cat Kid's not giving us anything new in regards to it, other than sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's not emotionally engaging, because in some way that's what we're seeking to escape from. That reality is what we're seeking to escape from by coming to this book. And here it's kind of presenting it again. And like I said, a rather similar way that feels, kind of true to life. So, I don't know. I feel like you could just open with Cat Kid and the partner on the beat, stopping crime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Zombie's unfortunately on a call. I guess we're left with Vicky.
Boy, I'm feeling a little, I kind of agree. I actually like the idea of starting it with him being captured. Maybe in the art, it could come across a little bit more contentious while he's there. And that would make a difference, after he's been captured. But I actually like him being all vigilante and being captured. It just needs to feel a little bit more menacing.
Yes, if you're going to keep these pages, you need to get us to feel something about them. You need to be thinking what emotions am I going to evoke, and how am I going to evoke them? Mm-hmm. Anyway, And I think Zombie's on it.
I like the fight with the big fish man.
Yeah, and the reason I open with that is because that comes back later and sort of like shown from a different angle because the SIR wants to like finish the job. Like they're like, oh, we need a permit to like take the Coast Guard boat out to the middle and dive. We need to wait a week for the city hall to like clear the permit and and it starts to show like the contrast between those two things, like the two approaches, the vigilante angle and the official but really slow angle. That's what I'm hoping to communicate effectively.
Okay. I guess Zombie's up, but you can contact him on Twitter or Discord or whatnot and get his notes. He already gave you the positives, so if he has any constructives, or maybe he can voice it here in a minute. But I think that's pretty good. And there we go. So thanks for stopping in. Now I'm left with
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm left with who's gonna go
Thanks
next.
so much, Tony.
Yeah. So we have all right, we have you two in the chat. Hello, Thomas and Patrick.
Oh.
And,
yeah.
Hello, you guys.
7 just showed up. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I think he has. Yeah, he has both.
Yeah.
And well, until Zombie comes back, I feel like we at least need more readers. So, Hello, 7. Hello. Hi. All right. So I am here in Discord, and what am I looking for?
Let's see.
There it is. The Black Holly. I'm going to say right now, I'm damn excited to read these pages.
I don't have that one.
Okay,
Hold on just a second.
Yeah, that is a Discord.
Let me see if I can get that downloaded. Hold on.
Yeah. My brother wanted to
yeah, because he dropped it late.
Okay. I think the next pitch stream is going to be in 5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, what I wanted to do was I want to just ask this before you get into this script, but the script I had was for the Comicsgate trademark thing, so
awesome.
It's not for the crit show, I guess, or is it? Are you still doing crits for that?
What's a crit?
I mean the doing the live reading and the constructive criticism part, or
I do that. The writers group. I guess let me go through that because there's been some questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the focus for me is not to make the best, smoothest contest possible or the best, smoothest YouTube content possible. I want the best product possible because that's going to live a lot longer. And so I want to read through pages that express a concept that I know an audience is going to react well, and the other judges agree with, and we're like, yes, this is it. And until I get to that moment, that yes, this is it, this is what I want moment, I am content to let people come in and bring pages. And look, I run the writers group on Wednesday nights, so now contestants will be given priority. But sometimes contestants, haven't really come up with anything new yet. And so there will be a chance for other people to go through pages. And if you notice, I'm going a little faster this time. So I feel like, there's a chance, even if you're not a contestant, there's a chance where we should have some room to kind of get to you at the end. And it's chaotic, because I don't know who's going to come in and present.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering is when would, if I'm here to just present the for the contest, would that be up front or at the end of the show or specific episode?
The next pitch stream is going to be in 5 weeks.
Okay, and that's when I would bring the the Flair Strand script.
Yes. Oh no, that would be you need to pitch it again.
No.
Go ahead, Vicky.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a script.
Okay.
I just have the synopsis, the layout.
Okay.
Do I need to make a script?
All right. On the pitch streams, like the one we had last week and the one we're going to have 5 weeks from now, you get to come in and pitch your concept. And if we like, this is a good concept, then it's like, okay, let's see some pages from this. Because that way we at least save people from coming in and presenting great pages, but I'm like, yeah, I hate the character, or I hate the concept, or that kind of thing. So we at least kind of want to point you in the right direction and make sure you're coming to us with a concept that we feel audiences are going to like. And then once you get approval for that, even if, despite however much we may love it, you still need to come in and present pages behind it.
How many pages? Is 2 enough? No, it'd have to be 10.
Oh, I mean, for the pitch or for the script?
The pitch. Or wait. Do I have to have a script or not? Yeah, wait, for the pitch. No, I didn't have to have the script for the pitch. You just need the pitch for the pitch. Yeah. And then afterwards, I'd rather write the script for other stuff. I do have another 10 pages that I could do with my other comic. Well, the one thing I was wondering is that, do I bring my script for the pitch or just any day?
On what day are you asking?
Well, I mean, like, would today, like, and also, how do I know if I wanted me to bring a script also?
Yeah, if I have enough room. All right, so right now for the next 4 weeks until we get to the next pitch stream, I'm just going to be looking at pages. I'm not going to be looking at pitches.
Okay.
And if you have scripts that are not in the contest, I will do my best to get to them. I'm going to give priority to the contestants, but there were only 5 of them. And, we've already gone through 2. And, I don't see Toby in tonight. So, I don't necessarily know where he is. And I was contacted by somebody else and said they don't have pages ready for this week. So I think 7's pages are going to be the last of the contest that we have to look through this evening.
Okay.
And then, John Lamont's got some pages and you got some pages. So I'm going to do my best to get to them. And did that answer your question?
So I do mean, does that mean that like my script would be done tonight or something then?
I'm certainly going to try to get to it. Yes.
Okay. I was also thinking maybe I could just do it next week because the show's like, it could be long and I could just save mine for next week if that's okay.
That's also fine.
Okay. I'll come back next week and we'll do the flare strand thing then.
Okay, cool. All right.
Thanks.
All right, cool.
Bye. Cool.
Heading out. Bye.
All right, bye. And we have Patrick and Zombie still.
Well, I don't need to write a script for the idea.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Although it might help. I mean,
yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, if I just wrote 2 pages, some kind of like what my expectation would be if somebody made it into a comic.
Right. Okay.
Like if Frank Miller decided to pick up my character and be like, I'm gonna make this character.
Okay, fair enough. All right. All right, 7, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, 7.
We got
Hello,
the Black Hollyhock. I'm pretty stoked about this one. And I really love how much effort you've been putting and how much we've been putting out there. So, like I said, when Zombie's done with his call, he should absolutely come back in. But meanwhile, I'm gonna keep Patrick here because we're probably gonna need more speaking parts. All right, let's look.
Yeah, there's a lot of speaking parts.
There's a lot of speaking parts. All right, so we got panel 1. We got captions. I got 2 guards in panel 2. All right, Patrick, you can be a guard. All right, you know what? 7, do you want to assign the parts?
No.
No. Okay. All right, Patrick, you can be guard.
And let me just.
Okay.
Let me just say that I do have quite a bit of dialogue, but
I see that. Yeah.
They're not reoccurring characters.
Okay.
Is guard 1 going to be a lot of dialogue? Because I'm still in a lot of pain from my back.
Ow.
No. That's this. These guys are only on the first page.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
All right.
Great.
And then I And then 7, you can be guard 2, and I will be narrator. How's that?
Okay, sure.
Can you give me a thumbstick, maybe?
Yeah, everybody gets a little cautious when Preston wants to narrate without his glasses.
Okay. Well, I thought I did great. I don't know. Everyone's a damn critic.
Is this some kind of criticism?
This is some kind of criticism. Yeah, exactly. All right, we got a German searchlight. Okay, it's going to be different than a regular searchlight.
Throw away your computer box.
Bunch of narration here on page 2, page 3. A German pilot. 7. You can read that. There we go. Page 4. We got Oberst Kruger. How many speaking lines does he have?
Kruger and Kosiak, they're both recurring characters.
Okay. Vicky, you can be Oberst Kruger.
This was in the computer
box.
I think Zombie would make a really good Kruger.
Okay. All right. Well, then tell you what. We'll read the first 3 pages, and if Zombie's back by the time we get there, then he can read. Then he can read. But like he's on the phone. Oh wait, or I can bring in Tony or Patrick, if you'd like, I can bring in Tony since you're in pain. Would that be easier?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Kruger is the big bad boy.
Thanks for stopping in, Patrick. All right, Tony, you there?
Oh, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're gonna read guard 1.
All right.
And we're gonna go through. All right, panel 1, establishing shot of Corvin Castle at the night with a full moon in the background of a Nazi encampment. Caption: Transylvania, 1943. Panel 2, 2 German guards outside talking in the moonlight. Guard 1, go ahead.
They say the Russians are injecting him with a serum that gives him the eyes of a cat.
Ja, and they fly like a bat. Maybe it's magic.
Panel 3, zoom in on a guard. It's annoyed face.
Superstitious nonsense. Dynatian are not supernatural.
Panel footnote, the night witches. Panel 4, sound effects up in the sky. Whoosh. Close up of the guards looking up in fear with rifles. And by the way, Tony, are you listening to this on headphones or speakers?
I'm on headphones.
Okay. 7, you on headphones or speakers?
My phone.
Okay. I'm just picking up an echo. Seems to have gone away now. Awesome. All right. Panel 4, sound up as whoosh. Close up of the guards looking up and with fear with rifles aimlessly pointed at the sky. Panel 5, guard 2 nervously lights a cigarette. Guard 1 trying to put it out lighter. See, that I feel like there may be a typo there, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, good. Guard 1.
9.
Panel 6, too late. A bomb falls from the darkness above. Panel 7, explosion sound effect. Kaboom. Panel 1, a German searchlight lights up from the sky from a watchtower and silhouetted 2 Soviet Po-2 biplanes split up a nearby anti-aircraft flak cannon AA guns shoot tracers into the sky. Sound effect. Panel 2, close-up of an AA gunner. A flare is dropped by a Po-2 biplane above the AA gunner, illuminating him. Sound effect. Boom, pish. Panel 3, sound effect. Whoosh. Close-up of an AA gunner's frightened face looking up. Panel 4, a bomb falls nearby, blasting the gunner off the AA gun. Sound effect. Boom. Panel 5, wide shot of several Night Witch Po-2 biplanes gliding just above a nearby black forest with a full boom. Sound effect. Whoosh. Page 3. Zombie back yet? I don't know. He's still on the phone. All right, Tony, you're reading German pilot Kosiak. And okay. The establishing shot of Nazi encampment with tents, watchtower, and warehouses being rocked with explosions. Sound effects. Boom, boom, boom. Panel 2, German Messerschmitt Bf-109 fighter planes arrive in the sky, illuminated by silvery blue moonlight from above and orange firelight from below. Panel 3, the Bf-109s try to shoot the low-flying, gliding Night Witch biplanes down but fail.
They're too low and too slow. I can't get a good shot.
Panel 4, camera looking up. German planes circling high above, unable to hit. The Night Witches dropping bombs. Sound effect. Boom, boom. Panel 5, close-up of German pilot Kosiak's face, expression of concentrated effort. Panel 6, Kosiak's Bf-109 plane swerving, shoots one down. The Po-2 wood and canvas biplane bursts into flames. Sound effect. Rat-a-tat-a-tat. Panel 7, the fiery Po-2 biplane crashes into the background as another German soldier climbs onto the AA gun in the foreground. All right, so Vicky, you can be Oberst-Kruger, and Tony, you can be soldier. All right, panel 1. The next morning, establishing shot of bombed Nazi encampment with smoke billowing from smoldering wreckage. Soldiers are inspecting the damage and digging through the rubble. Panel 2. A group of soldiers with their commanding SS officer, Oberst Colonel Kruger, surveying the wreckage of the crashed night watch biplane. Pilot Kosiak standing behind him.
Well done, Herr Kosiak. Have you truly earned your Iron Cross, Hexenjäger?
Panel footnote, Witch Hunter. Panel 3, soldiers lift up plane wing debris to reveal corpse of a young Russian woman. Her plane is covered in cutesy flower drawings.
No guns, no parachute, just a flashlight, a map, and a compass.
Panel 4, close-up of a Kosiak with a bewildered look on his face. Who's that? I think that's Tony. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Violet. But she's a teenager.
Panel 5, head and shoulders shot of Oberst Kruger with smoke rising behind him as he turns away with a clenched gloved fist and a look of disdain cast over his shadowed face.
Ja, they're terrorizing us with girls. Dispose of this before the dignitary arrives.
Panel 6, same shot with silhouette of soldier in the background.
Sir, there's another one here. She's alive.
Oberst Kruger cocks his gun with a menacing gleam in his eye. And then we have a messenger. 7, you can be the messenger. And do we already have is the commander different than the past characters?
Yes. Yeah, this is the Russians.
Okay. Now we switch sides here. Okay. All right. Vicky, you can be the messenger. Tony, you can be the commander.
Well, we need a white. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we're not there yet. Okay. Lilia and Katya outside an airbase, standing in front of parked planes with golden morning sun beaming across the airfield, bouncing the light off the planes on their faces. A military messenger approaches.
The commander has requested your audience.
Katya and Lilia in commander's office, wide shot, high angle showing both sitting in chairs facing commander's desk.
I understand that you are now elite free hunters, but we need you for an urgent mission.
Panel 3, close-up of commander's stony, chiseled face.
Our intel reports that the Germans are housing a weapon of mass destruction that they are preparing to transfer to an undisclosed location. We must destroy it.
Panel 4, close-up of Lilia's face, determined.
So you are needed to escort our bombers to their holding facility and railway station.
Panel 5, close-up of Katya's face, slight concern.
Our 588 bombers failed to do so last night, and we lost a couple.
Panel 6, wide shot, high angle, same as panel 2, but reversed.
They will be prepared.
Panel 7, over the shoulder, off back of commander in silhouette as he stands at his office window, watching Lilia and Katya walk to their planes to speak with mechanics.
Good luck, girls, and come back home.
Page 6. All right, now we got Katya and Lilia. All right. Vicky, who's your favorite?
I'll take Katya.
Okay, see? She's good, right?
She should do both.
All right, you should do both. You're going to be both Katya and Lilia. All right, there we go.
Okay.
Lilia and Katya are in their private quarters, gearing up to take flight. Establishing shot of them with their flight suits and gear laid out on their respective beds. Close-up of Katya as she looks over her shoulder at Lily as they're both unbuttoning their uniform shirts.
We are to escort 13 bombers into heavily guarded territory.
Panel 3, same camera angle. Lily is removing her uniform shirt, exposing her bare back with bra strap.
Concerned? Yet, but it could be dangerous.
Panel 4, same camera angle zoomed in, framing Lily. Lily has turned to face Katya with a sultry look on her face as she slips her thumb under her broad shoulder strap.
We have just an hour until takeoff.
Panel 5, close-up of Katya's face with white eyes expression as if gasping with a slight smile. Panel 7, establishing shot of geometrical formation composed of 13 Il-2 Sturmovich tactical bombers escorted by 6 Yak-1 Soviet fighters in a cloudy sky. Panel 2, camera angle close-up of Katya's cockpit. She squirms, seeing something.
I see 2 fighters, 10 o'clock. Engage.
Panel 3, worm's eye camera angle Katya and Lilia break off the formation, veering off towards 2 o'clock. Panel 4, over the shoulder POV of Katya's Yak-1 with Lilia's plane at her rear. We see 2 ASM fighter planes swerving towards her.
Wait, these aren't Luftwaffe.
Panel note, German Air Force. Panel 5, close-up of Katya looking astonished.
They're Japanese.
Page 8. The Japanese ASM-0s fire tracer bullets at Katya, causing both to split, flying left and right off panel with zeros in the center. Rat-a-tat-a-tat. All right, panel 2. Wide angle shot, the 2 zeros approaching bomber formation. 2 more Yak-1 fighters break formation to engage. More gunfire. Both Yak-1s fire at both zeros, but the zeros spin, dodging while facing each, hitting the Yaks, which burst into flames. Panel 4, same camera angles. Panel 2, with zeros approaching bomber formation, but this time Katya and Lilia both fly into the panel from the top and bottom, firing at the zeros. Panel 5, wide angle shot of zeros performing a cartwheel with several graphic overlays depicting the animated motion as it dodges Lilia's shot. Panel 6, close-up panel insert on panel 5 of Lilia's face, looking absolutely stunned at the acrobatic spectacle.
What ito da?
Page 9. Both zeros spin in the panel, each shooting down a Russian bomber as the formation scatters. We have gunfire, panel 2. Outside of the action, we see another formation of 8 fighter planes emerge from the clouds. Mr. Schmidt, BF-109's close-up of Katya in alarm.
Luftwaffe, 6 o'clock.
Widescreen camera angle, massive aerial attack. Russian bombers are being shredded by fighter planes with smoke and explosions and fire. In the foreground, Lilia is pursuing a Japanese Zero, but she's also being fired on by other Zeros, and behind that one is Katya, all flying in an arc. And the sound effect, we got gunfire. And then we got front view of Lilia's plane through the cockpit glass. We can see she looks hell-bent, determined. Bullets traces are flying right over her canopy towards the camera. In the background are planes shooting and explosions and a voice over her radio. And Tony, read that.
Abort. I got it. Abort mission. Lily, abort.
And then sound effect. And then close-up of Lily looking frustrated. Page 10. All right, so now we got Kosiak and Kruger. Both Japanese Zeros.
I'm Kruger, right?
I think you are. And Tony, you're going to be Kosiak.
Mm-hmm.
Both Japanese Zeros have landed on a German airstrip at the Nazi encampment, Transylvania. Establishing shot of both planes at eye level with Corvin Castle in the background. Their canopies open, yet the pilots are obscured in silhouette. In the foreground, with backs to the camera, are the Nazi officers Oberst Kruger, along with the ace pilot Kosiak and other White Lily and other soldiers awaiting to greet the Japanese pilots.
These pilots are extraordinary, utterly fearless and ruthless.
I expect no less. They sent their imperial elite.
In that case, one would expect them to pack parachutes.
Fearless and ruthless, utterly.
Full figure shot of Aoi with Haruto to the side and behind her. Kruger addresses them from off panel.
Welcome to Transylvania, and very well done up in the air. I hear your performance was incredible and most honorable. We don't have.
Oh, we don't have. Yeah. All right. 7. Why don't you read Aoi?
Thank you. Your Luftwaffe is respectable, Oberst Kruger. Our timing was perfect.
Kruger and Kosiak head and shoulders shot upward angle, invitingly. Kruger gestures with his open hand.
Indeed. Come now. After such a long flight and surprise battle, you deserve our finest hospitality. Let us comfort you with peace and quiet.
Panel 4, close-up of AO's face looking strong, even challenging. Panel 5, pull back camera showing a polished luxury convertible black Mercedes 770. A soldier has opened the front passenger door from AOE. For AOE. Kruger opens the driver's side door with a sweeping gesture. Kosiak and Haruto will be sitting in the back seat.
Our finest in German engineering. One will be included in your shipment to your emperor. Do you like?
It's nice.
It's nice. Okay, and that is 10 pages. Zombie, you back yet? No. Okay. All right. We're going to do our best. All right. I will start with positives. Hey, look, it's like White Lily 4.5, right? What's not to love here? We got plenty of action. I was concerned that we weren't going to see the Black Hollyhock at all. I'm like, there's no Black Hollyhock in my Black Hollyhock comic, but she did finally make an appearance there towards the end. So pretty good. A lot of action. Yeah, that's just what I got to say.
Yeah, I like the action in the air battles. I'm a big air battle girl. Yeah. And it flowed real well.
Yeah.
Pacing was good.
It did have a nice flow and good pacing. Tony, what do you think?
Oh, well, I'm a contestant, so my opinion is biased.
I understand that. What did you think?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. It had a good build up, I think, to the battle. Yeah, I think it has a pretty it's a slow burn opening, but it's a good opening.
Okay. All right. For constructives, now, all right, the idea you pitched, I think, was like she's kind of like a superhero, and I want to say in modern times, right? Like she goes and she's kind of Captain America-esque, frozen or somehow transported through time. And AOE the Black Hollyhock is in modern times fighting the White Lily, and they're both kind of superpowered people now. So it's kind of somewhat reminiscent of Captain America and Red Skull, like these old World War II enemies fighting out battles in modern days. So I feel like we're spending too much time in the wrong time period just to introduce backstory, which I feel like could be introduced more efficiently in dialogue or flashback scenes or something like that.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Actually, what I pitched was a 3-act play.
Okay.
The modern age is only the third part.
Oh, okay, very good. All right.
Yeah.
I
So
stand corrected. Okay.
Yeah. The first 2 parts are actually in World War II, and it's the end of the second part where she gets sucked into the kind of the negative zone or the shadow dimension. So most of the story, the bulk of it is actually in this period.
Okay.
Yeah. As you mentioned just now, as it seeming like White Lily part 4.5. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I mean, this is really meant to be an episode of White Lily, but from the point of view of her adversary.
Right.
Yeah, and then this ensuing issue, or in the following pages, there's going to be a major battle between the two of them. They're going to face off.
Did I not pronounce the name right? People were saying I didn't pronounce the name right.
Oh, Owie?
Owie? Okay. Oh, just like I hit my thumb with a hammer.
Exactly. Yeah. As if she's like she's screwed,
Okay.
Yeah.
Owie. Okay. All right. Look, I love fan service on the characters I made, so I can't complain about that. I still gotta wonder if maybe we shouldn't be spending more time with the person the book's gonna be about. So I want to see like I don't know. It's tough because I can't say we'll cut Katya and Lilia because I love Katya and Lilia, but this is an Owie book.
Well, it's
Vicky.
Yeah, I really wanted to see Owie much earlier. I kept waiting for and waiting for, and what I would probably consider. I mean, I like the buildup, the German, base, then the Russian thing, and then going into the air fight. But you may want to switch perspective to Aui's perspective as soon as Katya says they're Japanese, instead of a whole nother. You've got then a whole nother. Page 8 is Lily. Then page 9 is Lily and Katya. And then finally we get to Aoi at the end of page 10. But you could certainly introduce, at least have her in her plane from her perspective much earlier. And her on the, radio with her, Aoi on the radio with her second, what's his name? Haruto.
Sure.
Yeah.
The thing with that is because they're villains, or they're, at least in this issue, they're presented as villains. I wanted a very dramatic intro. And the way my setup here, or my thinking behind this, is to set up this mystique so that in the aerial battle, which is entirely visual, she's a badass, or both of them are like these super badasses. So that once the introduction is her full figured. When they find when the Germans, the Nazis, they're awaiting her. That's her introduction, because she's treated like she's royalty, right? As far as the story, it's not so much about her, at least this first issue, but about the mission.
Sure.
And that mission, they're desperately trying to get. Okay, to give you this, an overview, a synopsis of the story, is that she's sent from Japan to go to this Transylvania place to retrieve this equipment, this technology that will, they hope, will neutralize the atomic bombs.
Right. And by the way, I do know that this is a very common, because look, I've been writing in this genre for a while, as you know, and I have received this note before. So it's a very persistent note. Not all Germans were Nazis. Just
yeah. And actually, I made that distinction in the writing, where there's German soldiers, but then there's the Nazi.
Yeah,
Kruger.
Yeah, he made that distinction earlier that that it was the SS.
Right.
Yeah. Visually, Kruger is SS, and the other soldiers, they're just Germans.
Okay, I want to read something here. Okay, all right, page 4. The next morning, establishing shot of bombed Nazi encampment with smoke billowing from smoldering wreckage. Soldiers are inspecting the damage and digging through the rubble. Panel 2, a group of soldiers with their commanders, SS officer Obert and Kruger, surveying the wreckage of the crashed Nightwish biplane. Pilot Kosiak standing beside him. Well done, Herr Kosiak. You have truly earned your Iron Cross, Herr Hexenjäger. Panel 3, soldiers lift up wing debris to reveal a corpse of a young Russian woman. Her plane is covered in cutesy flowering drawings. No guns, no parachute, just a flashlight, a map, and a compass. I really like this. Why isn't this page 1?
Why is it page 1?
Why?
Well, page 1 introduced
the.
I'm sorry, what?
Page 1 was the first 3 pages of the Night Witch is bombing the German camp.
Yeah, and this page is the Night Witch that Kosiak shot down. So the idea is the first, especially the first page, it kind of gives an element of fear of these Night Witches, because basically they're very scary because.
But are the Night Witches going to be an important element of the story?
They are, yes. Okay. Yeah, because they're the night bombers, and historically, because they flew these small little planes, they were so slow.
You realize I know a lot about who they are.
Okay, I figured you would.
Yeah.
I'm just
right,
for the rest of the audience here. Historically, the Night Witches were terrifying because they were so difficult to shoot down. And basically, what they would do is when they would do their bombing runs, they would cut off their engines and they would glide, and so you couldn't even hear them coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why they were called the Night Witches, because they would just be like, the sound would be a whoosh. The Germans called them witches because it would sound like broomsticks, and then just out of nowhere they would drop these bombs. Mm-hmm. And so that's how the story opens up, is these soldiers, they're already superstitious, they're already afraid, they're already paranoid, because that's what they would do. They would terrorize the German soldiers. I mean, because they would bomb them all fucking night, so they couldn't get any sleep or anything. And that, the morale was, in addition to the destruction of the bombing.
Right. I mean,
the morale, they took a serious hit on that.
I mean, yes, I know all that, but what you've just gone over does not tell me why they're important to this story.
Oh well. Throughout the story, though, because they're the ones who are bombing the camp to hit to take out the weapon, and they continue. They're not gone. I mean, there's the major battle in the story involves the Night Witches coming.
Okay,
Lily,
saying here is,
but you could convey that fear in a couple of panels,
mm-hmm.
rather than 2 pages.
Yeah. 3 pages.
Prior, well, I'm just going. No, because page, okay, 3 pages. And you could do that in just a couple of in just a few panels, panel instead of a page, and convey that same sense of fright and fear, and still have Kosiak shooting down this pilot, and then we pick her up here, and then that gives us so much more time later, with Allie, who we want to see more of, because she's the main character.
Right. See, and that's the thing, is you have 23 pages to tell us about Allie. All right, Allie's gonna be the character on the cover of the comic book. I'm gonna assume.
Well, it's not so much a story about the character, but about the mission.
Okay.
But we have to care about her. Well, we have to care about her in some way, even if we dislike her, even if we hate her because she's the villain. We have to know her. Otherwise, why are we going to follow her into the next book or the one after that?
Yeah.
My answer, or my solution to that, that's a really good question. It's a problem, really, right? My solution to that is to build up these Night Witches as being terrorists, which this Kosiak Kruger, this Kruger SS guy fucking hates. I mean, he despises them because they're terrorizing them with teenage girls, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, and that guy turns out throughout this issue, these next pages, he turns out to be just a fucking monster. No surprise.
Okay.
But so he actually he fucking tortures the surviving girl, but later on, just to show what a monster it is. But anyway, the idea is to build up these Night Witches, these bombers, as this major fucking problem that they despise. And then Aoi and then Haruto, they're sent in to recover the shipment, basically to escort the shipment of technology back to Japan. So they're
okay, but if you cut the first 3 pages,
they come in and they fuck up these Night Witches, something that the Germans struggle to even take down one.
All right, so I like them. This is going to be my note, and then I'm going to move on, because again, I got some other writers, but this as an exercise, try it just to humor me. What if you made page 4 page 1? All right. There are ways to convey that the Night Witches exist in dialogue, maybe dialogue with Aoi, so we get to see more screen time with her. You can be walking through the wreckage of the bombs, and like I said, on page 4, we see that they shot one down. So the threat has been presented. They can say there's a problem, and that way you save 3 pages that you can devote more towards your story. And we're going to be transitioning towards the conflict between Lilia and Aoi, or Lilia and Katya and Aoi, and then going into the future between Aoi and Lilia. And the Night Witches are really nothing more than set dressing in that conflict, and I think they need to be treated that way. Also, your font was flowery but a little difficult to read, so I was going to suggest maybe more traditional font.
Sure.
All right. So, but other than that, it was good. It was entertaining. I'm back.
I finished the business call.
Oh yeah, sure. Did you hear anything?
Right on cue.
I listened to it all. Yeah.
Yes. Tony, thanks for filling in for the voice stuff.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Right,
yeah, good job.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah. So, Zombie, were you able to hear any of that, or probably not? Because
I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I had my headset on one ear and I was doing the call on the other ear, so it's quite surreal, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Well, at some point you can go, but essentially, we had. All right. So the first 3 pages, the Night Witches bomb the hell out of the Germans. Then we open up on page 4. We're in the German camp, and we're introducing some German characters.
No, I followed it all. But I just think I don't know, really. It's like a couple of different stories mashed together at the moment, as a point that was been made already. I think if it's an Aoi story, it needs to be about Aoi. If it's a general Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos World War II story, where she's one of the characters, that's a different kind of thing altogether. And then you've got the tech porn about getting all the aircraft right. Are we going to have set pieces with them zooming in or whatever? Like Guns and Girls and Panzers gets all the tanks right in that manga and anime in luxurious detail, and it's still more character driven. So this just needs to decide single focus, a bit like the Samael thing. Crush a lot of it, get to the main incident, set up the character, go from there, or do we want the World War II porn, the World War II tech porn?
Right.
The Schmeisers, the vehicles, etc. That's all.
Yeah. And look.
And also the font. That font is an unforgivable sin.
Exactly. And look, I got to say, look.
That's Jim Lee's font.
Yeah.
And you fucking knew it when you did it.
Yeah. I think I shouldn't have to justify, but I will go ahead and say I love this time period. I love these women. But I also have to look at my sales and tell you what sells. And the criteria for this contest is something that's going to sell. And we should actually have time here for John's script as soon as this is done. So take heart, John. Guinevere outsells White Lily, and I've only established Guinevere in 2 issues, and I've had 5 to establish Katya and Lilia. So the World War II, like women fighter pilot thing is not as moving to people as, boobs and magic. And so, if we're going to where the sales are, I would say we need less with the Night Witches and more with the sexy Aoi, like revealing her cool mission in kind of, Japanese Dragon Lady style. But I know that's just me as a producer. Stepping back for a minute. So.
Yeah, because she's hot. As a character, she's sexy and hot. And I want to see, I want to see a lot more of her.
Yes.
If you know what I mean. And I think that you do.
Yes. Exactly. So those are my notes. And I would love to see more of the story next week. Sound good?
So,
all right. Yeah. All right. Thanks for stopping in, 7.
Thanks, 7.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
And those were all of our contestants. And so now, Zombie, if you want to go, you can go. And
I am out of here.
I know you've been pretty busy. And now we will add Tony back. Hello, Tony. How are you?
Oh, hey.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right. So, John, we have half an hour to run through your script.
Cool.
All right.
And which one?
John has.
So this is my
Wizard's Daughter.
My Wizard's Daughter script
on PDF. Okay, there we go.
That I failed to pitch, but I figured if I got some pages and some feedback, maybe it'll help the next time around. So
never hurts.
You can bring it back on August 5th.
Cheating.
All right.
Preston, I had a quick question for you. I wanted to ask.
Go ahead.
Is Comicsgate TM certification different from like the shared universe thing, or are they kind of the same thing?
No, they're different. I addressed this on the wiki. The Comicsgate certification, for instance, I gave it to John Delarose's book with the main characters of Preston and Vicky, which I think are excellently named. But that content is not necessarily, he may want to add that to the shared universe, but so far he isn't. So the certification is my way of communicating to customers that John Delarose has a high probability of delivering on his book, and he's going to respect customer information, and he's not going to engage in trade libel in regards to his competitors. That's the criteria for certification. So you can be certified without participating in the shared universe. Those are two entirely different things. And for that matter, because of the open license nature of the shared universe, somebody I don't like may be taking, the material that's in the shared universe and using it in their own stories. And as long as they meet the legal requirements, I can't stop them. But I wouldn't necessarily certify them if they were, abusing customer information, for instance. So those are two different things.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to clarify that because I might send some stuff your way for certification that I don't want in the shared universe.
No problem. And towards that,
weren't you going to be repitching in a few weeks, John?
I may.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and and towards that end, I hope you take a look at the artist marketplace there. There's one guy who's just getting started. He's offering to do pages for $20. So I know you're thinking, but I got this cool software that'll do my pages for me. But I think that's participating with actual artists can get you a better product. So it's just
you should pitch that one. That otherworldly vampire thing. You should pitch that one in a couple of weeks instead of this. That was a cool book.
All right, so we got Gemini. All right, John, you know how this goes. Assign the parts.
There's two female parts. Most of the dialogue is Gemini. I think Zoe has a couple lines.
Okay.
And then
Zoe, Vic can do Gemini. How's that?
And then
and John, you can narrate because they hate it when I narrate.
Yeah.
And
then who else we got?
And who else talks? I got
Undertaker.
The Undertaker guy.
Tony.
And it's mostly them, I think, for the most part.
Adam.
And lots of action. And there's some.
And there's the kid, right? The
Undertaker's son. I think that's basically it.
All right, so I'll be the Undertaker's son. And what was the other part I was? I was Zoe.
Zoe.
I'm Zoe and the Undertaker's son. All right, cool. All right, John, lead us off.
All right, so are the pages up on the screen, or are we just going to wing it?
Pages are up on the screen, or it should be, right? Unless I did not share them. Never mind, I forgot to share my screen. Silly me.
It's okay.
All right.
All right. So page 1, splash page, Forest Road. In the distance, a black carriage drawn by 2 horses and driven by 2 men in black suits, the older one an Undertaker and the young one his son. In the foreground, Gemini, gorgeous, blue-eyed, blonde hair, late 20s, wearing a fancy medieval low-cut corset dress, waves him down with a white handkerchief in hand. Besides Gemini, a broken-down wagon. A wheel lays at Gemini's feet.
Help, please help.
Page 2, panel 1. The carriage has now stopped. The Undertaker leaning over, clear view of Gemini's large cleavage.
What seems to be the problem, Missy?
Panel 2. Several images of Gemini comically shoving the wheel against the broken axle, failing each time. Panel 3, Gemini holds up the wheel, gives sad puppy eyes.
It won't stay on.
Are you out here all by yourself?
Panel 4, Gemini twirls her blonde hair and her finger is leaning over, making her cleavage appear bigger.
My husband got called away to the war, and I have to get these fabrics to Athena. If I can't sell them, I'll be destitute. Can you help me, please?
Boy, go see what's wrong with their wagon.
By the way, John, I want to note here, you clearly have a mind for writing comics.
I did just finish 198-page one, so
there you go.
It kind of helps me frame panels and how they should look. So.
Although I do want to say, as long as I broke the reading here, several images. You can't.
Could that have been panel 2 through 5 or something, or how does that work?
You need to call out. You need to give the artist clear instructions for how many they need to be drawing and what.
Would each one be a panel?
Just like in a screenplay series of shots,
right?
Of panels, and tell them what they're going to draw on each panel. Okay.
Okay. I think I got you.
All right, cool. Pick them back up. Did we finish panel 5? Or
no, Gemini jumps up and down for joy, her boobs bouncing up and down.
I love it. Okay. But I gotta say,
Thank
look,
you.
This is another habit that you got to get out of. You can't say her boobs bounce up and down. It's a static image. Are they?
I know.
Are they down?
I don't know, but I don't know how to draw, so I don't know how they're going to draw them.
You know how to write. Tell the artist what to draw. All right. Gemini.
Bouncing up and down.
You can't draw bouncing. That has to be 2 separate panels. Or you can put motion lines if you want. We'll put motion lines around the boobs, whatever. But you can't show dynamic.
They can move
action.
up underneath her chin.
Right.
Yeah.
Gemini.
Okay.
Yay! Thank you. The God Queen smiles on me today.
Page 3, panel 1. The son kneels down by the wagon, examining it. It appears to have a broken axle.
Tony.
Oh, that's me? Okay.
I think so.
It's a broken axle, Pop.
Panel 2, the Undertaker enjoying the view he has of Gemini may be too much.
It'll be night by the time we reach the city, and I'd hate for you to be waiting all this time until help arrives. How about you come up here and we'll take you in?
Ooh, that's so nice of you.
Panel 3, Gemini has climbed up the side of the carriage, stares at how little space there is on the bench.
It doesn't seem big enough, does it?
Panel 4, the Undertaker, with his hands on Gemini's waist, has sat her down on his lap. Her legs hang off the side of the carriage.
It's plenty big enough, see?
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Tie the horse up in the back and let's go.
Panel 5, the son unhooks Gemini's horse from the wagon. Panel 6, the son ties the horse to the back of the carriage. Panels... this was another one that I'll have questions about, too, on how I formatted it. So, panel 1, the carriage continues down the road, away from us now. Zoe, early 20s, super cute, snowy white skin with jet black pixie haircut, dressed in sexy and tactical black leather. And Nathan, early to mid-20s, a sexy blonde with blue eyes, like his sister Gemini, dressed in black leather, dart from the trees chasing the carriage. Panel 2, Zoe straddles the rear of the carriage in a nearly full split, with her boots catching the lower left and right corners. She is leaning back, held by her grip on the padlock with her left hand, while picking the lock with her right. Panel 3, close up, the lock clicks open. The lock slips from Zoe's hand. The lock lands on the dirt road. And this is where I got confused. But so the idea was it's an action shot where Zoe kind of in one motion
right. So that's
swings herself into
series of panels. Panel 6, Zoe swings her legs back. Panel 7, Zoe opens the door. Panel 8, Zoe swings herself inside the carriage.
Okay.
Or you could do one panel and have the artist draw like like colorist effect where you're drawing multiple figures and some are going to be kind of faded out in that in that way that you show motion. So there are a couple of different ways to show motion in a comic book. One is to show like multiple figures, but have them be less colored than like the rest of the setting, or another is just to show in a series of panels. So
is there usually a preference, or is that writer's preference?
It's up to you.
Okay. Page 5, panel 1. Zoe stands inside the carriage, several wood coffins stacked up on either side of her. Panel 2, Zoe opens one of the coffins. Panel 3, inside the coffin, dozens of black velvet bags. Panel 4, the bag sits open in Zoe's palm. It's full of gold 1-ounce coins with Lucy's likeness engraved on it, Zoe fingering the gold. Panel 5, Zoe gives Nathan a thumbs up. Page 6, panel 1, the broken wagon sits, the Undertaker's carriage completely out of sight. Adam, 30s, ruggedly handsome, mixed ethnicity. And then I don't know if we can do that either. That was another thing, that there was an actor that kind of had the look for the character that I wanted, but I don't know if you have to get their permission.
No.
So anyway, I threw that in there. Wearing black leather armor, a bow and quiver strapped to his back, the sword strapped to his hip, walks a horse from behind the trees. Adam replaces the broken piece of the wagon. Adam ties the horse to the wagon. Adam rides the horse, pulling the wagon down the road. Page 7, panel 1. Nathan and Gemini exchange glances. Panel 2, bump. The Undertaker's carriage hits a pothole in the road. Panel 3, Gemini presses against the Undertaker.
Oh, this road sure is bumpy.
Zoe hands off one of the bags to Nathan. Panel 5, Nathan leans over the horse, drops the bag of gold on the ground. Page 8, panel 1, splash page. The forest road, a long trail of black velvet bags lined down the center of the road. Adam uses a long pole with a hook to pick up the bags off the ground. The wagon being pulled is full of the black velvet bags. Page 9, panel 1.
There we go.
Gemini's cleavage, a string on her corset dress breaks.
Oh no, not again.
Panel 2, the Undertaker smiles. He enjoys Gemini's predicament more than a gentleman should.
What seems to be the problem?
I make dresses for a living, but I can't ever seem to keep any.
Panel 3, Gemini pushing against her boobs.
I don't know what to do. They're just too big for my own good. Don't you think so?
I know a little bit about dresses.
Yeah, how to take them off.
Panel 4, Gemini giggles.
Oh, you. But you wouldn't take advantage of little old me, would you?
No, ma'am. I'd be a perfect gentleman.
Page 10.
Page 10, panel 1, splash page. Kane, a huge mountain of a man in armor, a design blend of Spartan armor meets fantasy full plate. The emblem of the God Queen is branded across his chest, a two-handed broadsword strapped to his back. Kane stands toward the foreground, holding the fallen padlock. Behind him, a dozen armored mounted troops.
What is it, Commander?
Fetch me a scout. Oh, and that's it. Okay.
Yep, that's the end of page 10.
That is 10 pages. Okay. Constructives. All right. No. Positives. It had boobs. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of big boobs. And as
I'm a fan of boobs
too. So let's see. Well, I think that comic could define comic readers in general. But Vicky.
I like boobs too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It moved along okay.
It did.
So yeah, it did do that. It did move along pretty well. Good little bit of comedy in there.
Yeah. Tony.
Yeah, it's a simple but fun setup. This is going to sound weird, but kind of remind me of Scooby-Doo for some reason. Just like in the woods or like gothic setting, I guess. But and like the gang is all coming together they're all in their 20s, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna rob a carriage or whatever. And it's like it's fun. It's a fun start.
Yeah. And
it kind of reminded me of Disney's Robin Hood.
Oh yeah,
when I
too.
first read it.
And we have a note from the Peanut Gallery that it's comedic, and it's sexual and comedic, and those two elements often combine well. Now for constructive, I don't know what conflict is running our story yet. I'm sure we're probably about to find out. But so far, the major conflict in the first 10 pages is how she's going to keep her boobs contained. So I don't know. I mean.
And I'm gonna do my nitpicky girl thing.
Yeah.
Fancy medieval dress is actually all high necked. And so I would change that description to something
like
more along the lines of Renaissance fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that sounds more like what you're kind of going for, the weird little thing with the boobs up top with the blousey. Yeah. Just
Okay.
weird chick note. So.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. What I was thinking of may not be what it's called. So I'll look that up.
Yeah, I got the feeling like you were thinking of the what's her name, Kate Blanchett. Was she in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie in the beginning where she has like the really tight dress that lake's cutting off circulation and like the corset thing?
You're right. The combination of corsets with like the practically open bosom that you see in like Dangerous Liaisons kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. But
that was their underwear, but not their dress.
Right.
In Dangerous Liaisons. Yeah, but more Renaissance fair.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. That's how I'm seeing it, as I'm picturing her struggling with straps and all that kind of thing. Especially if her boobs are hanging out.
Right. And my element when it comes to, I think this stuff in general, you don't need to put them on every page. Just here and there, I think, is enough when it comes to female sexuality. I want a little more story conveyed in my first 10. So I already, but that pages 11 through 20 could be, like a great dynamic. But yeah.
I will say I get why he's doing it though, because she's a distraction from the theft.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you, Vicky. Yeah.
In that way, it makes sense. Yeah, because she's part of the plan.
Oh, I see. Okay. You know what? You're right. You know what? They're perfect, John. Good job.
that was
the person who presented the best pages tonight was not in the damn contest. That's your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm a lousy pitcher. I know.
Yeah. All right. So.
Cat Kid just didn't have enough boobs, Tony.
Exactly.
I'll have to fix that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. I think. Yeah. I'd love to see where the story goes from here. And other than that, I really don't think there's too much that needs to be changed about it. I think you got the formatting down pretty well. So.
Oh, I did read ahead, John.
Go ahead.
And I got a little bit confused when they're being chased by the scout. Just, maybe I'll just drop it to you in Discord. I'll let you know about it on the Discord. But I had a little bit of confusion there between Adam and the scout and how you were visualizing it and describing it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Or we can talk about it whenever I get around to post presenting those pages.
Yeah, if you want to wait, that's fine too.
Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to.
Since it's not included in this 10, I'll just drop you a note in Discord.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. If I don't have any comment, maybe I'll change it before next week or the week after or whatever, and
I'll just DM you about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there we go. Awesome. I want to thank everybody for coming in and presenting stuff. I think we're getting this contest stuff started off pretty well. How to start and open a story is its own art form, and it is pretty tough. So, it took me multiple drafts on White Lily before I opened it where I did. I used to open it later. Sometimes I opened it earlier. So, learning how to open so it really showcases the conflict and highlights the characters and cuts away the extraneous stuff. That's its own thing. It is a learned skill, and this is how you learn. So thanks for coming in, everybody. And yes, we ended the day on boobs.
You should always start and end with boobs.
Right. I feel like I need to take Seven's story and just have John punch it up. Like, John, can you punch this up real quick for me? And then come back perfect. Maybe like, yes, that's it. There we go. I got the right balance of history and conflict. Boobs. There we go. All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, everybody in the chat and all the audience out there. This is going to be, we're trying to find the perfect story to present for you for the Expanding the Comicsgate Shared Universe contest. And I'd say every week gets us a little bit closer. So other than that, thank you very much for your time, everybody. This has been Preston Poulter with Pocket Jacks Comics, and say good night.
Good night. Thanks,
Good
guys.
night, everybody.